What's up? Chris Manning here from Locked On Cavs with my partner in crime, Evan Dammerall. Today's show, we're going to talk about the weekend games. We're going to talk about the Darius Garland ankle injury that caused him to miss both weekend games, talk about Colin Sexton and how he wasn't on the court at the end of Saturday's game. And we're going to look at the week ahead with a little special spotlight on one Evan Mobley, who, in my mind, has been the best rookie in the NBA in the very, very early part of this NBA season. That's all coming up today on Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And look, we want to thank you for making Locked On Cavs your first listen every single day. Remember, we are free and available on all your favorite platforms. That includes YouTube, where we need you to hit subscribe, smash that subscribe button, and do us right.
You are Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Evan, the Cleveland Cavaliers won a game.
They did. It was a fun game, too.
Did not expect that based on just the schedule, based on how the first half kind of went for the most part. Like, it was kind of unexpected, but very fun.
Yeah, I had a story drafted up in the press box. You were there as a fan with your father who had biting analysis that shall not be shared on the show, but I was
His fee is just so high, like can't square it. My dad, Ivan Manning's fee is just astronomical.
yeah, we like that guy. He said he pays like $50 or charges of $50 to $100 per appearance. Like Chris's dad is like Locked On Cavs is financially successful. Like we have
My
generational
dad
wealth
my
on
dad
an
only
episode
takes
to
a
episode
my dad takes a
basis.
my dad takes Ethereum or the gem from Uncut Gems. It's the only two things that he will take as actual payment.
That's fair. But yeah, I initially had it written up that the Cavs are starting their season 0-3 after the first half. I was just like, this one's done. And I'm just like sitting there watching the game, and then they start to come back, and I just quietly hit the backspace key and just put 1-2, and I'm like, okay. And then it got a little dicey, hit backspace again, put 0-3. And then when I knew the game was within reach for Cleveland, I'm like, all right, 1-2, schedule the post, close my laptop. But yeah, it was a fun game against Atlanta. Honestly, it's like a lot like the Grizzlies game. We're not going to hand out awards for this one because I don't really want to break down a game by game basis what happened. But it was a good weekend for the Cavs. I think the Hornets game was a bit of an eye opener. LaMelo Ball is as good as advertised. I think Miles Bridges just becoming a freak in nature all of a sudden is a lot of fun because I was high on him when he was coming out of the draft. And I'm just intrigued with what James Borrego's doing because at first, like, the Cavs had the Hornets on the ropes. Like these haven't been like blowout massacres. Like that could happen this week when they take on the Lakers or the Nuggets or the Clippers or the
I don't think the Lakers are exactly like world beaters right now, but like the Nuggets
compared to the Cavs, like they have
the star power. They have
the right personnel to kind of take advantage of one Lauri Markkanen starting. But
well, we'll talk about that because let's just hit this now because two things. Number one, there's data you can look at as far as like the starting lineup, and then now the variation with Rubio in there. It's like a total combined of 75 possessions according to Cleaning the Glass. That lineup has marking that the three has played with the starters and Okoro with the two. It's like 19. Add 19 possessions onto that. The numbers are so early; they vacillate all over the place in terms of like basically every category. The eye test to me does not indicate that they are good defensively. They are.
No.
They're not. The thing is, like, the numbers on them are good. Like the one with Rubio has like a very good defensive rating, but it's so good that I just don't believe it. And look, I'm just saying
that's the weird thing because if you look at advanced metrics right now, it's saying, yeah, this is working, but like eye test wise, because I got asked this by a few people, like, what do you think about it? I'm like, yeah, if you look at the numbers, it's working, but if you watch it in action, it's not. And JB said it well. He's just like, listen, we don't have enough tangible data to really squash this, but I understand JB's philosophy where he doesn't look at this on a position by position basis, where you have a point guard, shooting guard, small forward. I mean, it's clear he doesn't refer to them as guards or forwards or anything. He calls them smalls and bigs. Collin and Darius are smalls, and everyone else is a big. And JB's belief is to put the 3 best players on the floor on a night-to-night basis, and to start the game, he thinks that's at its apex. Darius, Colin, Lowry, Evan, and Jarrett. Maybe you sub in Isaac for Colin because that is still being discussed internally, just because of the defensive potential. But
Well, we'll
I
get
don't
to the
know, man.
Colin thing because I think there's like you could
Yeah,
see
it's
like
weird.
even though he I don't know what you could do. We'll talk about this in the second segment about him not being on the floor at the close of the Hawks game and I mean I watching him, he was just standing on the sidelines like kind of watching the whole time. But the thing with like marketing is just like when Kelly Oubre is 9 of 13 from the field and just
Or
cooking you.
Desmond Bain is putting up like a career night on at the
Yeah,
home
you're
season
just like
opener.
giving up stuff, and I'm curious to see how long it lasts. And look, I also just like if you want to look at Saturday, Mobley was the star of that game, full stop. Like he was absolutely incredible at both ends of the floor.
Evan
Isaac
Mobley is the
Okoro,
MVP of the weekend.
he's been the best player for the Cavs so far this year. Like I
Yeah,
think, like if you're looking at cumulative and it's 3 games and blah blah blah,
he's the best
and
rookie in the league right now because Cade
he's
Cunningham hasn't played.
he's number 1 in VORP value over replacement according to the Basketball Reference among rookies in the NBA so far.
It's
Maybe
pretty good.
Scotty Barnes might be. I might have misread that. Scotty
Scotty's been
Barnes,
so good too. Like shout out to
yeah,
Sean Woodley at Locked On Raptors. He's gonna have some fun this year talking about Scotty Barnes.
they're all yeah. He's
He's
not
awesome.
shooting particularly well,
No,
but
but that was his bug. That was his lump coming out of Florida State. But like everything else is just so neat, and I think Nick Nurse
yeah,
coaching him is so cool. But this is a Cavs podcast. Evan
yeah.
Mobley, MVP of the weekend, and
Well,
I think
they
without a doubt has been the best rookie.
Mobley and Barnes have the same value replacement 1.1. It's very early season, so like they're all sort of bunched together. Like Steven Adams is like up there. Is like all of these guys are like 0.1, Giannis is 0.1, etc. So it's very early, but all this stuff is very
We
encouraging.
need about like 10 or 15 games of tangible data to really say, okay, who's
Yeah.
the best? Like so
The
far.
line and the lineup data is also nothing where I need you need minutes, you need raw possessions, etc. But the other thing for me is like I think Okoro was absolutely kicking ass on Saturday. Like
Oh yeah.
like
He had a rough
defend.
time Friday against the Hornets, and then he really
Mm-hmm.
bounced back against the Hawks and like made a concerted effort to shut down Trae Young on possessions or Cam Reddish, or I mean JB just deployed the same tactic, like hey, this player's killing us on the perimeter. Isaac, we need you to go shut off their water for a few possessions
Yeah,
to get them out of their rhythm. And it
yeah.
worked.
Him go back and I would say people if you want because I need to watch back both these games, particularly the Hornets game, to kind of get a better feel for some of the things we're going to talk about here. Just haven't had time yet, but the Okoro stuff in the Hawks game was like the very, very tight footwork, very physical defense on Trae, not like biting on so much of this stuff. I
Which
mean,
is
like the
super
one,
encouraging because Isaac has a
yeah,
problem to biting on
he does. But even like the play where Trae, the JB challenged it late in the game, it goes, it didn't get reversed, but he got called for a foul. Like I don't think he did anything wrong coming over that screen. Trae did the lean in, kind of put the arm out, kind of thing, and like threw up the shot. I don't think Isaac actually did anything wrong in that situation. He got called for a
No.
foul. I don't think his process, I don't think his approach there was wrong. And like he was cutting, he was rebounding, he had a couple really nice assists, hit a 3-pointer, which was like good. And the other thing, the one thing I think maybe this is a just seeing him live thing versus on TV or whatever, but I think he actually makes like pretty good decisions like on the perimeter in terms of passing. And then like and there's also the stark thing of this game where Markkanen was 3-15 and was 1 of 6 from 3. And like I don't think we need to, and yes, everyone is in double figures, et cetera, et cetera. He was 5-6 from the line. They rebounded better as a team in this one and
Yeah,
and whatever.
that was my biggest concern is other than the defensive issues is the Cavs are getting worked on the boards on a night-to-night basis at this lineup. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating because you have 3 7-footers, but you're seeing guys like Trae Young with Atlanta or John Collins, obviously, but like even freaking DeLon Wright was getting there and snagging boards on
Yeah.
these guys.
Well,
And
they
I'm
were
just like,
50. Yeah.
but JB said he's not too concerned about that because these guys are still trying to figure out their tendencies and how they work and flow with one another. So
Yeah. Well, still,
it's a red flag that's like at the bottom of the flagpole and it's slowly raising up. Again, 10, 15 games, it might be at the top, or I might lower it and just be like, yeah, whatever. It wasn't that big of a
yeah.
deal, I guess, in the end.
Even on rebounds against Atlanta, down out rebounded by 10 against the Hornets after obviously having a real issue with that against Memphis. Evan, let's kind of again, we're gonna talk about Mobley in the last segment because he deserves like a lot of attention here. Any other final kind of weekend thoughts for you? Any particular players stand out? Is there a play? Is there something to you that kind of that kind of popped when you were kind of thinking about the weekend of
Evan
games?
Mobley's passing. I noticed the Cavs are breaking down Charlotte's defense a lot doing this, and they're breaking down the Hawks defense a lot doing this, where Sexton or Rubio at the top of the key would kick it to Mobley at the elbow, and then Jared Allen or a player who was cutting would be cutting along the baseline, and Mobley would just make the quick hockey assist pass. But I mean, yeah, Mobley gets a credit with the assist, but he's just the fulcrum of the offense, and I think that's really encouraging to see that this early into the season, that like we're already seeing like it's just he's so good. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like
he's
I was talking to Danny Cunningham about this. Like in 2 years' time, Evan Mobley could be like in the MVP conversation if he keeps showing up. Like just all this like crazy wild stuff. Like it's just insane the little things he does to you. That like he altered one of Trey's shots by just literally like tapping it with his middle finger just to make sure it was a floater. Like
the
guaranteed money
footwork
with
is
Trae Young.
the footwork in space is like outrageous for someone his age.
He's
Who kind of moves
19 years old.
awkwardly. Yeah, he's
His
really
body
really good.
makes no sense when he like. Well, that the other impressive thing about him is like we'll talk more about Mobley too. Is like he had the ball stripped. I'll save it. Let's talk.
The other thing I want to say, I against all odds, I think Kevin Love's been pretty useful. Kevin Love's been engaged.
Yeah,
he's sliding his feet around on defense. It's been a good Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And like, let's see if this persists. Let's see if he can stay healthy. But like this Kevin Love contributes, and this is like a good thing.
Yeah, it's good play Kevin Love and good vibes Kevin Love because he's coaching up Jared Allen and Evan Mobley almost on every timeout or every possession. Like
you
I've
can
been
see,
watching him. He's like making a concerted effort to work with these kids too.
Yeah. I desperately want to see a Mobley Love pick and roll. Just give me one.
Just one.
Mobley handling the ball, Kevin picking and popping. I just want one with like Okoro as like the diving cutter or like a Garland off. I want some variation on that just because I think it'd be bizarre and weird and really fun. But after the break, we're going to talk about Darius Garland missing 2 games with ankle injury and why I don't think it's like I had a couple of people kind of ask, like, is it like an injury concern with him because he's hurt again? I'll tell you why I think that's bogus. And we'll talk about Colin Sexton not being in at the end of the game on Saturday. But first, Evan, got to tell everyone about our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks has the best daily fantasy prop game on the market for NBA fans. They offer more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator and offer all the superstar players as well as bench players, only recording a handful of minutes each game. All of your users that deposit and use the promo code NBA receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Again, just use that promo code NBA. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over or under on their projections, and you can go up to 10 times an entry, and it's just you versus the projected numbers. And you can pick mixed sports entries. So you could take the over on LeBron combined with the under on, let's say, Patrick Mahomes and win in the same entry. It is safe, offers fast withdrawals, and entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is truly that easy. So don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. Remember, PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy, and use that promo code NBA for that instant deposit match.
Hey, Chris, does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows. Oh, wait, you threw me off. You haven't Dammeralled me, and you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for that good stuff. I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch all your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in the same place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of that clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
Okay, Evan, I'm going to let you pick. I'm going to let you do the Sophie's choice of not fun topics here. Do you want to pick Sexton?
I think they're both fun talk picks.
I don't
Like
think
it's
they're I
fun.
don't think they're particularly fun because a lot of this it's just like kind of like I feel like I'm like trying to generate some stuff here. But do you want to talk about Sexton first or Garland first?
Let's talk about Garland first and how he is Baker Mayfield and Ricky Rubio's Case Keenum, and I think the Cavs are limited offensively with Ricky Rubio on the floor, obviously, just in terms of shooting. But I think they'll be just okay. Like Rubio, I said this going into the season, was a player I was kind of really excited to see play for the Cavs because he answered a lot of the questions the Cavs have needed in terms of a backup point guard behind Garland. And if Darius does get hurt because he is injury prone, unfortunately, everything kind of falls to shit then at that point where they play like Damian Dotson or Colin Sexton or hell, even Isaac Okoro at the point guard. And like it just has terrible results. Having an offensive initiator like Rubio on a night to night basis is certainly helpful. It's clear that he is an older player. He's a little cooked athletically, so you can't expect him to play 36 to 38 minutes a night on any given basis. So hopefully they can find this nice dichotomy where you have, to quote Kobe Altman, it was a little bit paraphrased Kobe Altman, 48 minutes of elite point guard play. So then you have kind of, I don't know, like I'm not too concerned. I think the Cavs can be patient with Darius.
Look, t-shirt idea. 48 minutes and then
We will
like
not
you just
apologize for 48 minutes of elite podcasting.
well
Locked on
that's
Cavs.
okay, that's even better. But it's also like 40 minutes of
We'll
a
also get the hammer of Nick Angstadt firing down on us if we had a 48-minute episode. Got to keep it tight, 30 minutes, folks. But
yeah. But so the other thing is like you have like a thing like a felt strip on the middle of the shirt so you can swap it out. Like so if you want to hype up like
oh,
the you know.
so it's like those Browns fans who have the jerseys with every quarterback's name on the
Yeah,
back of it.
but like less
Not as
depressing.
depressed, but yeah, not
Kind
as
of
depressing.
depressing, but like not
The
as
overall
depressing as
vibe.
having like Brandon Whedon on like scotch tape on your back.
Hey man, I saw somebody wearing an Isaiah Thomas jersey at the
Bro,
arena.
I
Saturday
saw
night.
someone with a Birdman jersey on Saturday.
You know what? I kind of vibe with that. Like I told my girlfriend, I'm like, listen, if this Ricky Rubio thing keeps going, like I would consider buying purchasing a jersey just because I enjoy having him on the team as like just a novelty item for like a Coachella or something like that. But I'm not too concerned. Like I think people are just kind of like ringing the bell. I'm trolling a little bit when I say like he's the Case Keenum that's going to win the Cavs a championship. Now the Cavs aren't going to win a championship, but I think
Well, you
having
get a
Rubio is just a
face tattoo of Justin Rowan laughing if the Cavs win a title.
oh boy. I saw him too. That was the highlight of my weekend as well. It's good to see our friends at the Chase down. Carter's one of the nicest people ever, and he is so tall compared to me. They both are, but yeah, I'm not too concerned about the Rubio situation. The Sexton thing, though, let me hear your talks on it. Your thoughts on
the
it, though.
Garland thing. I just think the Garland thing as far as the injury goes. If you just go how that injury happened, like I tend to think that like there are some times where like some of this stuff can actually over time like be serious and longstanding and whatever. Like if you have knee injuries in particular and like and some of the joints wear down or whatever, the wear and tear for Garland, like this ankle injury was like literally just like a fluke ankle roll, and like I'm very excited to see that closing lineup we saw on Saturday.
Uh-huh. That's
With
what you and
him
I
in
were
it.
texting about. Is instead of
Th
Rubio in that lineup, it is Garland, Okoro,
just
Marketing,
just to see
Mobley,
how
Allen,
yeah, and like if you want to swap out Sexton for marketing, like I'm cool with that too. But I
or
want
we
to see how he
swap
would.
out Love for Marketing. Like Kevin Love would
Yeah,
be
I mean,
slapping
loves
that lineup.
he's been
He would
better.
hit the three.
You would hit the threes in the corner, and the passing would be better. So you get a little extra juice there. But like you're Garland getting a chance to like one of the things that Rubio is so clever at is like he's just willing to take on the creation. He's willing to take on the responsibility. And Garland sometimes like not that he doesn't want to do it, but he's still figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, it's
And
a work
I
in
think
progress.
I want to see him get reps at that kind of stuff. To talk about Sexton,
Yeah.
for me, when you're seeing that end of that game, and you're seeing Sexton obviously was in foul trouble in this game. He had 5 fouls at this point.
Yes.
So like it's very you got to, if you're JB at that point, you have to be very particular about when you're going to insert him back in. You got to be like because you already like kind of left him in for a little bit after he picked up his 5th foul, then you pulled him out. One of the things that I think you're seeing there is him saying, okay, we're going on a run here. We have a chance to win this game. This particular group is working. And like the like what the sub you would make would be kind of an interesting decision, because like if you take out Rubio, you're taking away the guy who's kind of orchestrating every single thing. If you take out a core, you're taking away the guy who's done a really good job on defense on Trey the whole game. And Colin just struggled. He's not a good defender, and he really struggled against Trey in that game.
Yeah.
If you take out Markkanen, which would be the other option, you're taking away, in theory, a guy who's going to space, offer size, et cetera, et cetera. So like I understand how he does not make that decision. And the foul trouble certainly plays a part of this. I don't think it's like a big deal, but it's just like one of those things where it's like you notice when it was an automatic, this guy has to go back in with 4 minutes to go. I'm going to trust him with 5 fouls and figure that out. Did JB say anything about this post game?
No one really asked about it because you're more excited about that, and I think also we'll talk about this in the Mobley segment. But like Mac, your question that I gave to Mac Robinson, 92 through the fan, like really derailed the press conference because JB compared Mobley to Kevin Garnett. So I have an interesting Collin statistic. I've been tracking this quietly because somebody pointed it out to me. So last season for the Cavaliers, Colin Sexton averaged 76.6 touches per game. Do you know how many touches per game off the top of your head he is averaging this year?
A lot less. A lot less.
56.7. He's touching the ball 20 less times per game. So I think let's just break down the list. Like Rubio, Garland are your top two. It makes sense. Those are your point guards. And then you have Evan Mobley. Makes sense. You want to get him as comfortable offensively as possible. And he is so good that you really want to get him the ball. Sexton is fourth. Makes sense. And then like right behind him though is Lauri Markkanen with 48. So Lauri Markkanen is getting 8.7 less touches than Colin Sexton. And then it's Kevin Love, Jared Allen, blah, blah, blah. Like Jared Allen doesn't need the ball really to operate. Kevin Love plays limited minutes. And then it just kind of falls apart from there because there's just like some weird pieces. Like Kevin Pangos is getting 7 because he played for 5 minutes one night. But it's just interesting to see what the Cavs are doing with Colin. I think it's working because he's also averaging a career best term in terms of points per game. I think it's at 25.5 off the top of my head right now. So it's clearly something working there, but I think it also makes sense for the Cavs not to make him the highest priority player on a night-to-night basis. My apologies. He's averaging 20.7 points per game because of the foul issue with Atlanta. Going into that game against Atlanta, he was averaging a career best 25 per game. But I'm not too concerned. I think JB did the right thing. You go with the lineup that's working and the lineup that's hot. And Colin was in foul trouble. Like you said, like you have to pick and choose these situations. Why would you kill momentum by possibly pulling a player out and putting Colin in, having him foul out? Then like everything just kind of falls to shit. So I don't really think there's much to worry about there. Like it is what it is. I just think it's interesting. Like, they're kind of phasing Colin a little bit away from being so ball dominant. Like they're forcing the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, it's interesting because like right now, 20.7 points per game, as you said, career low number of assists so far. So like a little below, like, so his number and he's shooting a career high from the field, but a career low from three. I want to see where he is at like game 15 in this kind of structure, because he's killing it in sort of different ways, being effective in sort of different ways.
That is something I'm kind of looking at, especially with this like road trip. Like if this falls sideways for the Cavs, like Colin's numbers could fluctuate a lot too, because against Charlotte, he was absolutely killing the Hornets, but he was more so looking to get his teammates involved at some point, and it was kind of frustrating because I needed Colin to be selfish in that scenario.
Yeah, one of the best passing games I've seen from him was and at times the Hawks game, he had a couple of really nice dimes, and I'm just like, okay, like he's figuring some of this out, and it's how this all kind of comes together will be one of the really.
He's making really good simple reads, and that's the right thing. Like I said, like that play where he kicks it to Mobley and Mobley kicks it to Allen, like. That's a good job of breaking down the defense.
Yeah, and they're coming like a tad bit earlier than they were before, which is good. But Evan, we got to
you're right.
We got to take a break. We'll talk about Colin, I'm sure, a lot more this week because it's just
we got 5 episodes a week now, folks. We got tons of stuff to talk about.
Well, and we got to see what's going on with Darius and see when he's going to be back. But if Darius needs a little extra protein to kind of get him back in the flow, he should check out our friends at Built Bar. And like, look, you can get cookie dough chunk right now. The blueberry muffin is available for a limited time. They have some really great fall themed puffs if you want to try those out. And they have other great flavors.
Folks.
Slap. cookies and cream, orange, strawberry, a whole bunch more. And if you haven't tried all the flavors, you can get a mixed box or get 2 of each of the 9 flavors. And look, not only are the Built Bars the best tasting bars out there, but they're healthy too. 17, 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from 130 to 180, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbohydrates. Order today and get whatever you like. And remember, try that mix box. You want to try them all. And remember, Built Bar is the official
Folks,
protein
if
bar
you try
of
Rocky Road, let me know how it is. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. You
I'm
haven't
just looking over the
downloaded.
flavors, and I just got like a hunger pang.
Built Bar is also the official protein bar of the U.S. track and field team and NASCAR. So go to built.com and use promo code LOCKED15. You'll get 15% off your order. Again, LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com.
You know, our friends at Built Bar and their new affiliation with NASCAR, they might want to tune up their vehicles before every race with our friends at Rock Auto, which is today's sponsor. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it is now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and their prices are reliably low for every customer. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find a solution for your auto parts needs. That easy-to-use website is rockauto.com. Go there right now to see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, locked on, and they're how did you hear about us box? They know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Check them out today at rockauto.com.
Okay, last segment. Evan, Cavs this week. Nuggets game, which they play Monday, so that'll be the first thing we talk about in terms of the structure of this week. They also
Anyone's gonna do
play.
the Cavs Nuggets challenge.
Dude, I hope not.
Yeah.
It's bad for. It's just a bad health decision. If I'm keeping it straight with you.
Wait. Okay, McDonald's. No, McDonald's is a sponsor this week. No, it's a great health decision, folks. Just do it on a Friday with Locked On Cavs.
I will not be doing it. But Cavs Clippers Wednesday, Cavs Lakers Friday, Cavs Suns on Sunday. Busy week. Get this West Coast trip out of the way. At least like this version of it. For me, A+. I'd rather get this done early.
And we'll talk.
Yeah, but I guess like, well, let me just ask you this. Evan Mobley.
Say they have zero chance again, and the Cavs.
No, I would have said that on Saturday. I would have projected them to lose on Saturday, but this will be a tough game.
I thought they were going to be 0-3. I firmly thought they were going to be 0-3. So this Hawks win was a pleasant surprise. I had friends asking me because tickets to Cavs games are cheap. Why should I go? I'm like, the Hawks made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you can watch Trae Young for $8.
There's a lot of very vocal Trae Young fans at that game too. Which is
a lot of vocal Charlotte fans of the game cheering for LaMelo and Gordon Hayward of all people. But either way,
it's extremely Midwest of them to be like Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
But in terms of this week, in terms of Denver, like what are you looking at?
I'm intrigued to see how JB, at least with Denver specifically, how JB deploys this 3 big lineup, because Nikola Jokic is going to be the primary defensive focus for them. But I mean, they have Michael Porter. Like Michael Porter Jr. could ruin Lauri Markkanen's night pretty easily.
Dude, yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I have Michael Porter Jr. in one of my fantasy basketball leagues. You opened the floodgates here on me doing a bunch of them at once. I actually did a sleeper pick'em league, and it's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it. But
if anyone from our league is listening, stop being cowards.
So like Will Barton, that's a problem. Monte Morris, like he's really good. Aaron Gordon is an intriguing matchup. So, like I'm interested to see how they match things up. And I know we're going to talk about Evan Mobley a lot more too. I'm just going to go out and say, man, if I were JB, I would put Evan Mobley on Michael Porter Jr. to start the game, because he's their biggest threat offensively. You can put Jared Allen on Nikola Jokic, or maybe switch Markkanen on him too.
I would not.
Hiding
Lauri
Markkanen is going to be hard.
Dude, hiding Lauri Markkanen against Denver.
Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr., like that's a tough ask.
Aaron Gordon will cut him to death. That's probably your best option. But the thing is, like, I don't necessarily, like, it hasn't been clear that like they don't want to deploy Mobley as like a wing defender. They want to keep him for his rim protection inside. They want to keep him cutting off the paint. And like it just seems like that's
and
where
that's
we
all
would
well
head.
and good, but
They,
like if
the
they
real
could
fix
switch
is to
him
start
on.
Isaac Okoro. The real fix is
Yes.
to start Isaac Okoro and play Sexton, Okoro, like Allen
In Tower City.
and Mobley. Yeah, like it's just like there we go. But I thought one of the more impressive things I've seen Mobley do all this year, and it wasn't a single play, was the cumulative effort of him being the main reason why John Collins had like 6 points on Saturday.
Yeah,
We didn't
he
even talk
ruined
about
John
that,
Collins'
but like
night. That was cool.
he was really good defensively, particularly on John Collins, drawing that assignment. Who's stronger than him, more proven than him, all that stuff. Does he do? I want to see what he would do and then against Aaron Gordon. I want to see how he would handle like kind of that, kind of dealing with, a different kind of elite passer, and Nikola Jokic kind of feeding that guy, and Gordon there can be really efficient.
Oh, God, they should have kept
It's
Isaiah Hartenstein to teach Evan Mobley how to pass, man.
yeah, dude, Evan Mobley isn't going to learn how to pass on his own. He doesn't need heart and dimes, but
To amplify him, then, jeez, Chris. The next Nikola Jokic is playing for the Clippers, and I don't think he's playing at all. So
he barely made the roster. And Jason Preston's not even playing. So what are we even talking about the Clippers for? But like,
they play on Wednesday. We'll talk about them then.
We'll talk about it then when I
eulogy for Hart and Dimes that day. So
yeah, just Evan 30 minutes.
I'm really interested to see what the Cavs do here because I don't know, man. If the Cavs are hell bent and determined to stick with this all big lineup, I really do think they should try putting Evan Mobley at the 3. Just let him play some perimeter defense, and he's switchable enough that you can have him recover. Because here's my thing.
Do you mean defensively a 3? Because I don't think he's in. I think offensively, I don't.
Offensively, you just do whatever the hell you want with him because he's
kind of
versatile.
Yeah. Okay.
So but let him I think that's such a cool idea. Like let him bring the ball up, let him initiate the pick and roll with Kevin Love, let Kevin Love be the roll man or have pop out and flare out to the wing or something or to the perimeter. So like Evan Mobley really is my favorite play he made. I'm getting excited talking about this is he had the ball stripped from him from Trae Young and he recovered so quickly down the other end of the floor. He didn't block the shot, but he certainly altered it enough that Trae wasn't going to be able to hit an easy bucket. And I'm just like, this kid's 19 years old and he looks like he's into his peak defensive form already. And he's already doing all these just little things that are really exciting. So like I said, marketing gets cooked. Desmond Bane ate his lunch. Miles Bridges took advantage of him. LaMelo Ball took advantage of him. Ja Morant took advantage of him. Thank God Jamal Murray's not healthy because I think Jamal Murray would bully the shit out of him too. But Michael Porter Jr. is going to feast. And Michael Porter Jr. is very similar to Trae Young in the fact where if you get him hot quickly, there's no cooling him down. And I don't think the Cavs can afford to go into a boat race with the Nuggets because the Nuggets are just so loaded offensively and pretty sound defensively because it's just a Mike Malone coach team that they're going to have a hard time keeping up with them.
Okay, I need to skip ahead to Wednesday and Friday just real quick on this.
Sure.
If the Cavs do these 3 big lineups, I'm doing the emphasis on the 3 because it's a curse number in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers, but Ricky Rubio is seemingly breaking that curse. Okay. You're playing the let's say you're playing the LA Lakers on Friday, right? Okay.
Yes.
Who's defending who's starting the game on LeBron James when they're starting Russ, Bazemore, LeBron, AD, and DeAndre? Is Lowry marketed like starting on LeBron?
I don't know, man. Do you try and hide him on DeAndre Jordan because DeAndre Jordan only plays 10 minutes a night for the Lakers? That's
like
I
just don't know. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing here?
The real test of this. I think it's a fun offensive wrinkle. I do. I just don't think you can start this and play it like 30 minutes a night because.
Are you gonna play like honestly? I almost wanted like just try the zone, do the zone, like play the 3-2 zone,
that, man. Because guess what?
We're almost out of time.
I don't care.
That
48 minutes of elite podcasting. I won't apologize for it.
The wrinkle when he pulled that out and was like, I'm putting Evan Mobley in the middle of this zone and I'm gonna like throw the Hawks for a loop for a couple possessions was a really good coaching moment by JB Bickerstaff.
He
really good, really just good
really
in
good
his
coach
bag.
too, and he got out coached. Full
Yeah,
stop.
JB, one of the just a really good pull from JB. I just this week is gonna be like one of those. I'm like, okay, like, are we sure we're doing this? Because I'm I've kind of been like skeptical of it the whole time. I think all the lineup data you're seeing now is like so early enough that I don't. It's not
Fool's
worth like
gold.
tweeting. It's not worth tweeting. It's not worth like talking about because we don't have anything about it. But like this next 3 games is a very big test of like, can you play this way?
Yeah, I think it's gonna get shut down pretty quick. And if JB wants to win against the Lakers, I mean, even the Clippers, like Jesus, who
They
are
have
they gonna
Paul
put on
George.
Paul George? Paul George is gonna absolutely dominate. And like this is the litmus test of, is this lineup actually viable for the Cavs? Or is it just a fun offensive wrinkle like when they threw Larry Nance at the 3 and Larry told
Yeah.
us on the show that we had no idea what the hell we were doing, but
Well,
the Heat
and
didn't know
again,
what the hell we were doing
well,
either.
yeah, and again, I think the way to play, if you're saying, okay, we want to play big, we've seen these teams win playing bigger. The answer is very clearly to
I
me
hate
not
that
play
answer
more
so
big,
much.
but it is not playing more bigs. The answer is you get the generational talent that Evan Mobley might be and build around that guy playing big.
The only reason you don't start a Coro next to him is just because of spacing concerns. But I don't think Larry Markkinen possesses the gravitational thread that like a Kevin Love does. Like
No,
Kevin
and he
Love is
doesn't do.
respected on the
I'm
3.
sorry, he doesn't, but he also just isn't doing anything else well. The Hawks said, "Hey, Kevin Herter, you're going to defend Larry Markkinen," and Markkinen could post him up for a lick, and that's just what he is. That's just what
It's
he kind of has always kind of
very
been.
frustrating
Kevin Love,
because
Ke-
Chicago
hot take,
fans
Kevin Love
said
could punish that. Kevin Love could have a better chance of punishing that. Just give me
Kevin
the
Love with
vibe.
a
Let's go.
bum Achilles could punish that better. Let's just leave it there. Final
Yeah.
predictions. Do you think the Cavs are going to beat the Nuggets?
No.
No, I don't either. If they deploy the 3 big lineup, I think it's going
Evan,
to be
I
a
need you.
rough
I'm going to
time.
ask you to vamp for a minute because I'm going to pull up the betting line real quick, and
Okay, I'm going to
we're
vamp real
so-
quick. So why do I like Evan Mobley so much? 1, we have the same first name. I am now the second most famous Evan in Cleveland. 2, we're both awkwardly shy. 3, I feel like we'd get along, and like because he likes video games and stuff like that. Like play Fortnite. Like I get kids these days. Like I'm 28 and washed, but and my girlfriend just doesn't say I'm 28 anymore. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're getting closer to 30." I'm just like, "Stop saying that." But at the end of the day, it's Evan Mobley's fun, man. Like I went on Locked on NBA and Josh Lloyd is just like he's the best rookie. I'm like, yeah, he is right now. We'll see what Cade Cunningham looks like when the Pistons finally play him. But like Jalen Green's having a frustrating time in Houston. Just I think the Rockets are being bad on purpose to get better players. Like surprise, surprise. But like I think the Rockets will be good long term. But there's a reason why the Cavs were picking 3rd overall. I know people bugaboo the pick because of Jared Allen and eventually the Larry Markkinen acquisition and Kevin Love still being on the roster. But like Josh Lloyd said this, he's like, maybe by Christmas time, we're really considering like Evan Mobley the best player on the Cavs. I don't think that's hot of a take anymore. Like he's looked so
Could get there.
good. And like he could get there if he keeps building upon this momentum. Like there's gonna be a night where he has a frustrating night. Like against Denver, that could be that night. Against the Lakers, because he has to defend Anthony Davis. Like that is not a tenable position he should be in. Like
Yeah.
it's good.
Not yet.
Like even the
Not yet.
Suns too. Like DeAndre Ayton's gonna be a tough pull for him too.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's gonna defend like
Or
Jake
like
Crowder
Jay
more than he's gonna
Crowder.
do. Yeah, like that. The point of
That's a
Allen right now is to. Yeah, but the point of him, he's gonna take on the brunt of the big guys. Okay, Evan, the betting line is 10.5 points. The Cavs are 1-2 against the spread so far this year with a 1-2 record. So the Nuggets are 10.5 point favorites for this game. So just betting
I
wise,
took
that's
the
where we're
over
at.
on that. If I was
Possible.
putting money on, I put the over, take the over on that. I think the Nuggets win by a wider margin than that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like John Beilin's death march. They win against the Nuggets, and then he quits a few games later.
Well dressed at Summer League John Beilein. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's show. Thanks everyone again for tuning in. And remember, thank you again for making Locked On Cavs your first listen every day. If you want a great second listen, check out the aforementioned Josh Lloyd Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Go check that out on YouTube or wherever you're listening to Locked On Cavs right now. And please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel so you
I don't
can
have a
help
flag to
us.
wave, so I'm waving this gnome I have.
And that's your screen cap for the episode. Until then, everyone, be well. We'll talk to you soon.